What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you a World of Tanks gameplay commentary. I am bringing you a match in my mighty Tog Tannic, the indestructible, well actually it's pierced quite easily, but still, the premium tier 6 heavy tank, the Tog 2. It's quite a good vehicle if you know how to play it properly. The thing about it is it's very large, it's very slow. However, its DPM is quite formidable, not as good as, let's say, a Cromwell. I believe a Cromwell does in fact have a better DPM, but it is still enough to put the hurt on, and its gun has good penetration. It's 171, the same as the Black Prince, and you know what? It's got a lot of hit points, so it can take a lot of punches. You're going to see exactly how I play this tank to its strengths in this match, but at the same time, it was a severe learning curve. We got the KB1 trying to push me along here, and it is the standard battle, the only type of battle on mountain. No, this is cliff. I almost called it mountain pass for an odd reason because, well, there's a big pass and there's a big mountain on the map, but it's a lighthouse little mountain there. Cliff is a definitely better description of this map. My brain just derped there, as per usual. You should all be used to that by now, because no one is perfect, especially me. We got a looks here, trying to get some looks. Bad puns are bad. And getting not really anything done, other than getting himself spotted by a Panzer 38 NANR team, and it looks like a lot of enemy medium tanks and light tanks pushing that hill. I'm just going to say, you know what, I'm going to shoot this T-25 and get off a free shot or two, and there we go. Shot number 2, already gaining myself just under 300 damage, and our Panzer 38 NA getting himself eliminated. And these vehicles, thinking they're going to push up the hill, trying to get spots, I'm going to take what shots I get. As you can tell, its gun is also very accurate. The Luke's getting eliminated. And one thing I did learn about the Tog 2, you've really got to play in a central pivot point on the map, because you don't have the speed to really get anywhere fast, so you just got to go kind of central on the map, one of the shorter distances, and kind of be able to just have a lot of view range on a lot of the approach ways. So I'm not going to go around the 9 line, I'm not going to go up the 1 line, I'm not going to get myself isolated into a spot where my effectiveness is going to be limited. Here, I can shoot on them if they push around the mountain pass. You know, the cliffside. If they push up the little alleyway down the 1-2 side, I can turn my turret to support base. If they come around the cliff side, I can turn my turret that way. If they try and push in through the middle, I can shoot them from there. And this is really how you have to play this vehicle and other slow-moving vehicles like the Mouse, like the Tortoise. You cannot really get yourself isolated in a location where your effectiveness, where your ability to influence multiple parts of the map is limited. Right here, looking like I'm going to get some free shots, intentionally shooting that front cogwheel, making sure he's not going anywhere except back to his garage. And you'll see that happen right here. Aiming a little bit further. Yep, Tater Dot. I actually never took notice of his name, but that's quite a cute little name he's got there. Is going right back to that garage, his tank eliminated, and it is 4 to 8 hit points, still kind of, you know, close, honestly, but that's because I have so many of them, and unfortunately getting a ricochet on that T-25, looking to get the kill on this 3001D, and I will get just that. Again, this gun very accurate, and it has very little influence on the turret, but I also have really good crew skills going on this, because at the time of this match it was my Conqueror crew in this vehicle, so it has a lot, you know, it's got 3 perk skills, it's got some, you know, a snapshot, better fire on the move, all that fun stuff, so it's definitely able to get those rounds off quickly and effectively. One of my worst nemesis is here, the KV-85 with a, it doesn't look like he has the 122, which would be a pain for me, literally 390 of my health gone in almost an instant, but still getting some good penetrations and getting a very lucky, kind of lucky but also kind of skill ricochet. I did angle my armor very intentionally there in the hopes it would ricochet. Now the Tog 2 does not have good reliable armor, but it does bounce a bit more effectively when you actually take the time to angle it and you are at a distance where the enemy can't aim so effectively. However, if you just shoot it in the turret, you'll pretty much pen almost every time with almost every gun. Churchill 1 trying to come up behind me, and I see him. This is my actual camera view. I'm not manipulating this in the replay whatsoever. I am fully aware of all the enemy vehicles crashing in around me, literally here in a moment, and the KV-85 coming in because he decides he wants to tango, and I'm like, okay bro, let's go. And it is 7-2. We are down 5 tanks. We are down just a few hundred hit points actually though, but again, I have the majority of my team's hit points, and again, shooting very intentionally in that back cockpit, keeping him from pulling around and being able to utilize his gun, with KV-1 wanting a piece as well. So I'm going to say, you know what, you get some, and this Matilda being very annoying, but he is not the larger threat. This KV-1 almost certainly is a larger threat because of his higher rate of fire, higher damage gun. Well, not rate of fire, but you know, his DPM is going to hurt a lot more than this little Matilda here. Backing off, though, just so the Matilda couldn't shoot me as effectively, and I am already at kill number 4, and kill number 5 right there. 11-12, the team's evening up very quickly, bouncing that Churchill. I'm like, okay, little brother, let's go, and I get nothing but a critical, unfortunately, and he will back away before I can get that final kill shot. So up to 5 kills at this point, over 2,300 damage, and the enemy team thinking, well, I don't remember Togs being this so hard to kill. Yes, they take a lot of time to kill, but this difficult? Not so sure. The Matilda saying, a lot of fun, obviously being sarcastic. The Matilda, also a very slow vehicle, and I know this Churchill 1 is trying to do something a little bit sneaky here. Now, I am, again, a slow-moving vehicle. I cannot really reposition, but as you could tell, I was, again, in a central pivot point and able to really flex where my team needed my gun. I was able to aim my gun at a lot of parts of the map, both the east, west, and center, and basically provide effective fire support where needed, which is the only reason we are 11-13 at this point, and the only reason we are even have a remote chance of winning this match. Now, what are my biggest concerns? The enemy artillery. This Electo, not so much. He actually kind of drove out in the open here, being a little bit aggressive, pulling out, and he will ricochet me just because he did not aim his shot effectively, falling down this hill and getting me kill number 6, that monster kill, that Top Gun. And the Churchill trying to be a little bit sneaky. I know artillery has my number, and so I'm going to move. That is exactly why I was hugging that rock, and it saved me. Thank you, Rock. You are my best friend in this match. My team, not so much. And it looks like our M41 HMC, the Tier 5 American Artillery, is the only really other effective member of my team. I've got 6 kills, he's got 3 kills, and there's only 12 kills to go around. So the enemy artillery actually getting quite ballsy here, this M44, which is a Tier 6 artillery piece, going after our artillery. A big mistake on his part, if I do say so myself. Ooh, blown up. I actually forgot I got the ammo rack, and I do manage to save our artillery, at least for the time being. I do not recall if he actually dies. Again, these are very old games. 9.5 was a good long while ago, so it's hard for me to recall exactly what happened. I do recall vague, performance from the match, but as far as little specifics, not so much. Looks like the other enemy artillery had pushed up excessively so, and he doesn't see me. That's actually kind of a little bit depressing that I could spot him and he couldn't spot me, but they did nerf artillery view range. I can't remember what patch that was, and I don't know if it was quite me who spotted him or my friendly artillery, but he wasn't turning to engage anyone, so I'm assuming whoever spotted him, he did not spot in return, and all that remains is the Churchill. Now, had the enemy artillery actually exercised some teamwork and both came at me, probably could have killed me without much difficulty whatsoever. I probably would have been done, and if the Churchill had crashed down on me at the same time, and I say, how dare you challenge the mighty Tog, being all silly and ridiculous in the chat, as I occasionally like to do. The Churchill pulls out right in the open. I take a shot. He doesn't quite see me yet, or does he? His gun is definitely turning to engage, and I ricochet, but I know I will fire before he can kill me. I leave the target even after losing the sight range, and I do get kill number 9 out of 15. A very good performance, if I do say so myself. But let's go to those post-game stats and see how well everyone else on both teams did. And of course, as always, we are going to start off with my specific performance, getting quite a bit of experience and credits earned, and that was even, yes, I take that back. I was going to say that wasn't even the daily double, or the ×2, or the daily triple, whatever it is, the first victory, but in fact, it was getting myself Mastery Badge Ace Tanker, a few ribbons and pins for my trouble, as well as Radley Walters and Top Gun, because those two always go hand in hand, and getting a steel wall and a high caliber as well. Again, probably would have noticed the high caliber had I been paying attention, but such is the way of things. No one else really earning any medals, and like I said, the other top performer on my team being that M41 HMC, doing quite well for himself actually. Over 1700 damage, very, very respectable for tier 5. In fact, quite impressive if I do say so myself. The enemy team, their best performer, that KV1, I was very right to prioritize him as a high threat target, and the M6 kind of just meh, and the rest of the enemy team kind of meh. Very spread out in their damage, however. My team, on the other hand, had 3 0 damage performers, and quite a few who just really didn't pull any weight whatsoever, but such is the way of World of Tanks and matchmaking in general. In any game, most of the time you're going to have some teammates who really don't do much of anything, whether because they just don't have the opportunity, or because they just have a bad luck, or don't have the skill. You know, there's a whole lot of factors, but let's not go into that too much. Still, well performed by some members of both teams, the M6 and really the KV1, and let's just lump that 3002M in there as well. I can't recall if I killed him. I might have. I killed 9 of their team out of 15, so I killed a lot of those enemy vehicles. In fact, we can actually go see if I did. I did not. He was one of the few members that my artillery or one of my other teammates did kill. And there was a couple other kills among my team, but only 3 of them, spread out very sparsely. Overall, 34 shots fired, 29 hit, 25 pens, and that's what I'm saying with this thing. You're going to fire a lot of rounds, and it's pretty accurate. You're going to do pretty well for yourself, but you just got to put yourself, again, in that central pivot point, and then you can be the mighty Tog, destroyer of games, and all that fun stuff. And having 1400 hit points, really, I mean, I was left with less than 300 there by the end of the match. I took a beating. Just so many of my hit points gone. A little bit absorbed by armor though. Damage blocked by armor, just under 1,000, so considerable, and definitely contributing to my success and my team's victory. Some RNG there, some skill there, but at the end of the day, that's just the way the game's gonna play. With premium, earned over 72,000 credits, got over 5,000 after action payout and bonus for premium vehicle and all that fun stuff. So gotta say I was pretty happy with that performance, and I mean, who wouldn't be? Still, gotta say, the TOG, very tricky to play. I don't even think it's on sale anymore, but if it ever does come back on sale, I do have to say it is a fun vehicle, but it is a very niche vehicle, and it's going to have a learning curve. If you don't know what you're doing in it, you're probably gonna die horribly. But with that said, that's probably going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been Spang. Oh, actually, I noticed I've been forgetting to say in my World of Tanks games, if you got a replay that you think I should do a commentary on, check the description below for instructions on how to submit. And anyway, this has been Spang, and clearly I am just oh so professional. Until next time, my viewers.
MLG Dynamo.